Hello and welcome.
Hello.
Another episode of Carvers Creators, a weekly demonstration and discussion with sculptors, carvers, and multi-talented artists from around the world. If you're a fan of the show and you like what we do, give us a like and a follow on the platform you're watching us on. Make sure in the comments you let us know where you're watching from, so we get to know our audience. Let's meet these wonderful artists we have tonight. First, he's a legendary creature effects fabricator and monster maker, the foam fabber himself, Mr. Ted Haynes.
Howdy, y'all.
Teddy. Next up, he is an artist and sculptor from Tucson, Arizona, a Halloween Wars finalist, and just a handsome man all around, Mr. Matt Harper. My name's Paul Dever. I'm an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts. And our guest tonight is a sculptor and creature designer for film and television. He's the maker of high-quality resin display busts and an all-around fun gentleman. Joining us from Toronto, it's Jay Ryan.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Guten Tag.
Internet
Isn't it pronounced Toronto?
Toronto?
Toronto.
That's how we say here, Toronto.
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 Well, welcome back, man.
Thanks for having me back.
Says, you know, we always say we'd love to have you back, and then we eventually get to have you back. So it's fantastic.
Life happens, and then this happens. Look at this. I'm here.
That's a good time.
I cleaned my shop for you guys. Look at this. It's pristine.
I want to actually, I thought of this today, and every photo that you have posted, you either are the most tidy human being on the planet or you have serious OCD, because
OCD, man.
It is so clean. I'm like, everything. And in the background, everything's all hung up on the wall. I'm like, does he live in a shop or a store? Like he could buy shit off the stuff around.
I have a problem with buying like knickknacks and tchotchkes that I just don't need. Like anything anything that's under $20 and I can see that I like, I buy, and I just hammer it on the wall, man.
It's a price point thing. Gotta do it.
It really is.
It's like, ooh, what a deal.
Exactly. I actually went to Toys R Us and I bought, I don't know if you've ever seen those Super 7 figures. Have you seen those before?
Yeah. It's a great company.
They're cool. They're like, do you know like the size of the original Star Wars figures from the 70s they used to make? They're like that, but all different horror characters. I've been going out buying them. They're
very, very retro characters. They're a great company.
Oh, they're phenomenal. And the color choices they use in the packaging is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm in love.
Very cool.
Just what I need, another addiction.
Shout out to them. Well, Jay, if you do remember the show, you remember that each week we take our sculpting challenge, and before we spin the magic wheel and do it all again, we like to reflect. We've been doing it long enough. We reflect now.
Look at that, eh?
Last week was a furious hillbilly.
Nailed it.
My shine. Where's my shine? Dude, the teeth are awesome. It makes me
the dimples in the cheek area are beautiful.
Yeah.
It makes me like want to put a retainer in or something.
I want to fix them.
I was whistle through those teeth.
Pork chops
I had
and
a pumpkin
applesauce.
left.
Shuffer and shuckatash.
As you guys know, once you have a pumpkin kind of start going bad, the depth of how much you can carve starts going away. And the closer you get these like reedy little grassy, gross, hay looking stuff. And so I was starting to get mad at this because I wanted to do like a mullet or something more telltale of a hillbilly, but I figured this dumb look on his face kind of said it all. So I was all right with it.
Yeah, he looks like he plays banjo on his front porch for sure. He's like,
he stands in line at a pain clinic.
Exactly. Deliverance right there. That's what you just
with like 12 prescriptions.
I see him playing banjo right there, and he's hitting a cranky note, and just
He's singing on him. That's awesome.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, Paul, this is fucking doggone wonderful.
He's hillbilly, right? He's hillbilly.
He's
serious.
He looks like that old guy in a horror movie that warns you about something. You know?
Yeah, the guy, the sitting on the porch kind of guy.
Yeah.
Y'all better turn around, go back.
You're gonna die out there, boy.
I can't remember his name, but he kind of looks like the fellow from the movie Christine.
Oh yeah.
That sells him the car.
Yeah, he does.
Can't remember the guy's name.
Oh man, it's like I plagiarized it and didn't even realize it.
It's those little things just root into your brain.
Yeah,
it's just
pop culture.
Well, they
That's-
can't see it. Ah, shit.
That beard
love-
is sick too.
I gotta say, Paul, I love what you did. Like the mouth, I look at the mouth and I see like the tongue pressed against the back of the teeth. And so
Yeah.
I don't know if that was on. It looks great the way he's just. It's just really organic looking.
There's a lot of tension in his mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, just so we're clear, if you think that's the way it was supposed to be, and it looks intentional, absolutely,
Yeah,
100%.
That's
Exactly as planned.
Totally game plan.
Heck of
100.
a plan. Heck of a plan.
I didn't post anything because mine's I'm still working on it because I'm working on two. Well, let me show you from the week previous.
Thanks, Johnny.
So I'm still working on my fish. So I've got my this was when we had Laurence on, and I can't remember. There was a frustrated aquatic, I think.
Frustrated aquatic.
Yeah, so I've got the pumpkin ridges glued down now, and I'm going to start getting into layering with latex and texturing. So this will be done next week.
That is wow. I don't even know how you begin to do that.
From last week, our Furious Hillbilly.
Yeah.
So this is where he's at right now.
Oh,
He's gonna have a little Furious, not corncob pipe, but a gourd con pipe. What?
I like that.
Corncob.
Wow.
Gourd
All right.
pipe.
This is ridiculous.
So, yeah, he'll have that little. So there's.
that looks amazing.
It does.
What are the eyes?
Just wooden balls right now. So I'll probably end up just using the wood balls. But yeah, so I mean, this using foam is a little bit of a cheat. So I can like add things on and do stuff like. I mean, I know we do additive like ears and teeth and things like that, but I didn't have a squash the last couple of weeks, or I was asked not to do a squash only because we've got so many squash, and my wife incorporates them in dinner. So she said lay off the squash for a little bit, but I've got a squash this week. So
Nice. I love when you bring what you're an expert in, what you're known for, and then you dive right in with the wheel. It's just such a cool dynamic, man.
And you do carve it out of a massive piece of foam. I saw the chalk.
I start with a block, so it's got it's a whatever that block was, and so that's out of a solid block. Now I was doing some additive things, like the nose got added, and the lip I started changing the profile a little bit because I just wasn't happy with it. So again, it's a cheat as far as like a pumpkin is concerned, but I'm still doing the assignment. It's a pumpkin, it's a hillbilly, and he's furious.
And what are you using to do that? Are you using like wire cutting tools and stuff, and you're just shaping that down, or
everything I've got, just X-Acto blades and scissors and some these little razor blades called Persona blades, which are used for hair cutting. A lot of that, and just like scissors and like big where's my other knife? Oh, this is one of my favorites. So just a cutoff blade knife.
So you're just literally carving them out of solid foam.
I'm just carving them out of a solid block, and then if I'm not happy with things, I can take like thinner sheets of foam and do bevel cuts and stick them on. But this show's about you, so Jay.
That level of sculpting is just like, because you can't even fix that. As I was saying to these guys the other day, I was like, when you guys screw up, it's like you either got to hide it really well or it's like done. It's like there's no adding things back kind of when it comes to the pumpkin carving, right?
Well, I'll be doing latex over the top of these, not dissimilar to how I did this guy over here originally.
Right.
Which is latex rubber and tissue and that kind of stuff. So I can build up and make some, so it's a more additive process, like sculpting clay. So it's a little bit easier when you're restricted to this. That's the hard thing. I mean, what Paul and Matt do is like, that's, it's like, this is what you have to work with, as opposed to like, you can add some ears on and things like that, but
right. But
this,
my question to you guys is though, when you get a pumpkin, right? Does the pumpkin dictate what that character is going to be, or like you have to like,
sometimes.
like you kind of see something in it prior, and you're like, oh, I can do this, or can you just like, you know what I mean? Is it like the gourd itself is kind of dictating what the character can kind of come out as?
Matt, you want to field that one?
Yeah, because it depends on like if we're doing the wheel. Sometimes if it's pumpkin season, we have a few of them around, and we're like, oh my, that one could be a witch, or that one. So it helps. But or if like Paul and I were in Boston over October this year doing a thing together, and we knew we had to carve specific heads and faces and stuff like that. So I think when you're going through the pumpkin patch, knowing that you got to do this kind of face or that kind of head or whatever, it helps, oh yeah, I can see it in there, but you certainly try to find the biggest, freshest one, because if you, the thicker, the better, because if you make a mistake, you can dig a little further and bring it all in a little bit and make
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because you can go deeper then, right?
Yeah, and to a point, right? And then if the inside is, gets kind of that webby, garbagey, soft feel.
Yeah, gets mealy.
And then you run out of space. But yeah, that's the fun of it. It's a challenge.
Yeah, you're picking the winners.
Yeah.
Or the losers.
October. So what do you guys do in October? You just go to a pumpkin patch and clear them out every year, and then it's like...
You ever see that scene from the hills are alive? That's us in the pumpkin patch.
You guys dancing through pumpkin patches.
Yeah, and
every
then
step we take is another pumpkin.
Then the tear comes to the eye when you actually have to pay for them, and you're like, "That's a lot of money."
What's a gourd run these days? A good gourd,
$60-$70.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
A real big, fresh, new, good one, 30, 40, up to $70.
Yo, we paint on nothing but the best.
Jeez, that's an artisanal pumpkin, isn't it? That's one of those high-end ones.
Right there.
Well, the beauty is they last so long.
How long would it last? Yeah, like a week, 2 weeks?
A week?
No.
Yeah, the moment you cut into it and you're done, take some pictures, wrap it as much as you can, and maybe a week. And it's going to look different every day.
But that's the beauty of that, though, that they don't last for me. Like, that's like, it's just like, it's only there for a bit of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love the ephemeral part of it. It's you're in the moment. You made that creation knowing it's not going to be there. And then, you always have the pictures. Like, sometimes I'll go back and go, how the hell did I get that look? Or how did I do that eye? Because I'm like, I can't do it anymore. Like, we talked about this yesterday. It's gone.
It's gone.
Whatever that bit of magic was, like, it's gone. It passed me
just
by.
pushed out of your brain by another new piece of information. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, sometimes you can make them last.
Hey,
look at that! Look at that!
You guys are all too high tech for me, man. You guys are showing me up here. I gotta get a 3D printer now.
Yeah. And hang on,
we're gonna get to the wheel in a second, but
yeah, we got to do something.
Ted, I've been trying.
Oh, nice.
Hang on, I got to blow you up a little bit here.
Is that a scan or a ZBrush sculpt?
That's a scan.
It's
okay.
So perfect.
I cleaned it up in what do you call it, Nomad, which is
okay.
Just the problem, but it won't focus as good. But Jesus, is the detail so good on it?
Oh yeah,
That's
you shrink that down, man. It's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I had to create so you could see where the glass was cracked.
Oh yeah.
But I had to create the back half of the pumpkin because the scan, the Revo point kept losing tracking when it got to the back because it was just so generic. So I just stopped it and scanned the face of a bunch of them so I can rebuild the back because the important part's
great.
the
That's
fantastic.
Very cool.
Last week's challenge.
Oh,
that's so cool. That's true. That's just crazy, man. You can do that in such a short period of time.
Yeah. As soon as I was finished, I just scanned it, plugged it into the computer.
Very cool.
And on, sent it to the printer.
Just from pumpkin to statue in like a day.
Technologies, man. Technologies.
From farm to fork. Farm to fork, from
farm to forge
to the printer.
I don't know. There could be some cute little things at Monster Palooza.
There might be a couple. Very rare.
Very well, maybe.
Very rare.
So it is time for the wheel. I mean,
it is the Hella Wheel, the Cine Spinner.
Exactly. And Paul's gonna.
The reason I drink.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, you remember the wheel?
I remember the wheel.
All right, so for everybody watching at home, we're going to spin this bad boy twice. The first time we spin it will be the character. The second time will be the emotion or attribute we're going to try to apply to the first spin. So tonight's choices are, and if we land on it, we will respin: Hillbilly, Orc, Primate, Mythical, your choice, Old West, Fantasy, Viking, Feline, and Baby.
Yuck.
Oh boy. Then the second spin will be Terrified, Exhausted, Distinguished, guest choice once again. Crazy, Annoyed, Excited, Furious, Sad, Flustered.
Yeah.
That's a terrifying wheel.
It's a flustered hillbilly of a wheel.
Flustered hillbilly.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. And
Primate.
Oh,
nice.
Good one.
All right.
All right, and our primate is Flustered. I got flustered right. I knew it was going to be flustered.
You
A
know, it's gonna be
flustered
cool.
primate. That's me.
Okay.
Me too.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much describing me. I'm going to put that into the chat here for us.
Committed to the asylum.
Yeah, we are committed to the asylum. Tonight's spin, a flustered beast.
You guys
Now-
gonna dive into your gore piles now?
Yeah, now this is when we do that.
Lord
Apparently.
Miles. I'll be back. I have to go straight from the vine.
I only work when it's fresh.
Yes, I must smell them.
Well, I do have one big bastard left.
Cut it out.
Well,
You say that every
okay.
week.
Okay, hang on. I got this is one I got. The big. I already chunked it out. I already chunked the front of it out because it had like this totally hard calcified nugget on the back, and I have a feeling this is like paper thin inside. So I have this as a backup.
Oh, nice.
That's my body shape. You can do me on that one.
Dude, that's a forearm of fury right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I wish I could have found something like that at the grocery store. This was like the best shaped one they had, but
Yeah, as long as the top is really solid, you have a lot of material.
That's what it is.
Did you specifically pick that kind because of the thickness of the walls on them?
It's now,
one?
yeah, but it's usually just because that's what's available in the winter month, and the more we got sculpted them, the more the shape of it is great because there's a seed cavity in the bell, right? And then all this is solid. It's like carving medium monster clay if you don't heat it up.
No way.
It's so consistent. It holds detail well.
Yeah.
And then pumpkins roll around them. I'm like, oh, for Christ's sake, really? These beach balls of water again. So yeah, I gotta find a way. I gotta get a green thumb somehow to figure out how to make a hybrid butternut squash pumpkin solid.
Just a mutant mess of a pumpkin.
Yeah, we're gonna step
absolutely. Absolutely. Shorten my lifespan by 15 years, but I'll live forever when people say, did you get a Denver pumpkin?
Your tale will be told for years.
Forever.
These things are mile thick.
There it is.
Yes. This is what we want to start off with. It's because last time is what you kind of hush couldn't talk about ended with.
Yeah.
You're working on big things.
Yeah, dude. Now I did the eye appliance there and the mouth appliance there for one of the main monsters there in David Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future there.
Good Lord.
Dude, that's cool. Awesome.
It was hard because I had to sculpt holes in it so he could kind of see, but it couldn't look like there was holes in it. So it was a challenge. And he had to breathe too, obviously.
I might have just committed a cardinal sin. I'm so anxious to get your stuff, Ryan, that we skipped our carving oil. What
carving oil? Hey, I'm thirsty.
Yeah, I was getting thirsty, and I'm like, why am I so thirsty? We haven't done our oil yet. So
you got to lube up, man. You got to get the oil going.
We're gonna have to repent somehow for this. Like we all have to drink double now.
I think that's got to be it. That's the only way.
When did we stop being adults? Jesus.
All right, Paul, you get to go first. What are you having, Paul?
I did not get to go. I mean, I've been slacking on getting to go to the liquor store because I have such a good plethora of readily available beers. I'm going back to the lefts.
Oh, that's a good beer.
It's a great one. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Blonde. Le Blonde.
Is that a German beer or something?
It's a Belgian ale.
Belgian.
I'm surprised you didn't just have a bunch. Weren't you just in Sweden or something?
I was in Sweden. Yeah.
That's in that like next door, like a mile.
Belgium, Sweden, they're all the same. They're all through Europe.
Yeah. It's a and it's a little 6.6er.
Comes in a leak. Wow, eh?
Yeah. All right. Hey.
Oh, hot bud.
Now it's a party.
Step back, you hoser.
Ted, what do you have there, Ted?
Well, I've got 8.5
holy
alcohol here from Iron Ox Brewing Company in Santa Rosa, California. I've got the Demo Man Double IPA.
Hey.
So
Demo Man.
This is their.
Or those you'd end up in jail.
Yeah, I know. They're homage to the Demolition Man. So.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah, I picked these for the show because it's a fun can, and we'll see what it tastes like.
We'll see what it tastes like.
Right.
Yeah.
Be careful though. That there's a warning on that you may break out in handcuffs.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ryan, what are you sipping tonight?
I have it's a small brand out of America. It's called 7-Up.
Oh, heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not a lot of people have heard of it. It's fine, but yeah, that's what I'm going to have tonight. I can
Right.
bring you guys some with TV.
Because somebody's
A
working.
local brew.
I'm
or-
on antibiotics, so I'm supposedly not allowed to drink.
No,
Well, just
Please.
don't tell anybody. You know, you'll be all right.
that was just a suggestion.
Yeah. I found a cool can too. I pulled a Ted, and I'm going with a. Oh, here, let's see if I can back up.
Oh,
a little
nice.
bit.
Oh, nice.
That's a sick can.
What is that? A teddy? Is it like an alien?
It's a robot alien thing.
That's really cool.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah,
I like
and,
that.
and it's a double hazy IPA. So
7%, eh?
What do you
Fuck.
listen? You're drinking with the big boys now, right?
Jesus,
And
don't
it's a
make me go
tall
get my
can,
bottle of
too.
whiskey out here.
You think we just carve on Thursday nights?
Jesus, if
get
I'm
after
ever
it.
on again, I'm bringing a bottle of whiskey out on this. I'm not going to.
You'll have a Jolt soda next time.
Oh man, Jolt soda.
maybe
All
two.
the sugar and twice the caffeine.
Remember, I haven't seen a Jolt soda in 20 years.
That's because they probably banned it.
Yeah, it's probably
Hey guys, we'll
More
do a
knocked a
little
bunch of
cheers
kids off.
to our
Cheers,
creation.
everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ching.
Holy
yeah.
crap, that's wonderful.
I'm
That's
jealous.
definitely a double IPA.
Wow.
It tastes like chewing
Palm
on
water?
pine needles, basically.
It just
Yeah.
stings the nostrils.
Stings
Yeah.
and all. Permeates the air.
Don't forget, we are doing a flustered primate. Okay, now back to
Oh,
the show.
that's right. I got to start sculpting.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. After one sip, what was the
Yeah.
prompt? All right, so it's been a while, Jay, and I gotta say, if you're not following Jay,
To your own detriment.
yeah, you're dead to me. Seriously,
It's just
unbelievable.
mostly guitar videos and pictures of my cats, guys.
Yeah, rows and rows of ready to go cats. I don't know how you cast that much material that fast.
I got a Rotocaster.
Oh, you did?
Really?
Finally, after 10 years of doing it by hand and almost killing my back, yeah, I'm like, it's time.
Oh, good for you, man.
It just like it's literally saved my life. It's like I can't believe I did it for so long without one. Now that I have one, it's just unbelievable.
It
That's
takes up a
great.
whole lot of real estate, doesn't it? A Rotocaster, that's a big.
Oh yeah, it's big, but it's just like I'd work in a shoebox if I could have one of those still.
Okay.
This
Is it
because
a
like lifting the mold is so heavy, right?
Yeah, seriously.
yeah.
Is it steel? It must be steel.
Oh yeah, steel. It's like a giant steel thing, and it's like I retrofitted like a sling in it. It's like a custom job. It's like a MacGyver thing, you know?
Oh, good.
Nice. Does it have like wristlets and anklets? So like,
Yeah.
if you
Well,
want
I gotta get strapped in
to, like a date over or something.
It's
Safety
also
first.
it's also a sex
Obviously.
swing.
The rack, he calls it.
The
Rack. Honey, we're going on the rack tonight.
The thing with that is like I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of the newer stuff I've been doing without it, like the larger scale stuff, like that Dreamcatcher I did with all the souls on the chest and that. Like
Oh,
that mold weighs, it's silicone and freeform air, but it still weighs like 60 pounds, right? Like
Wow.
it's not light. So it's kind of opened me up to do more larger scale stuff, which is cool. And I can just sit and watch X-Files while it does its work.
Yes.
Well, if you don't mind, since I'm new to Jay, I mean, Jay's been on the show, and not with I just need to know a little bit about Jay, and maybe folks watching who don't know Jay.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah,
Jay, where'd you start, and how'd you get into it, and
I
what do you
was
do,
a
and what
session
led you?
musician.
very good idea, Ted. Thank you.
Yeah, I was
That's
a
why I
session
took that.
guitar player and songwriter in the music industry for about 10 years, and then I just had enough of it. So I left because I was doing a TV show and I didn't like it. It was awful. And then so I left. I went back to college for advertising and graphic design. And then when I left there, I just fell into it. It was like, oh, I'm going to try sculpting now. And then it kind of just snowballed, right? Like I made something, one person bought it. So I'm like, okay. I sold one, and then I just kind of kept going.
So what age were you when you started? All of a sudden, I'm going to start sculpting.
I didn't start sculpting till I was 27.
And you had you not picked up clay or anything prior to that?
Never. No.
Really?
No. I just done music before that. It was music for like at least 11 years prior. So it was I didn't even. I guess I had a knack for kind of forms and stuff. I mean, my earlier stuff. Really. If I look at it now, it makes my eyes hurt. But it's I don't know. It was also just being too dumb to know you could fail was a large part of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's an easy crossover. Music and sculpting. It's pretty common. People.
The band was a popular band, though, right?
Yeah.
What
was the name of the band?
Oh, like the last thing I was doing, I was playing for Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys and is doing a TV show for MTV and the whole thing. Yeah.
What, like on his OnlyFans? Like, what are you talking about?
I wish I would have made the big bucks, man. Jesus, I wouldn't be sculpting monsters in this friggin' cave right now.
not for less than $5.99 a month.
Exactly. That's what we're at, man. Subscription-based things now, man. That's what you gotta figure out,
It's a different kind of Patreon, but still you gotta subscribe.
Exactly.
It's a Patreon.
This bust up here scared the shit out of my mother when I first made it.
Mission accomplished.
And I have a friend who's mortified of The Exorcist. He refuses to watch it. Like he will.
I love that's even better.
Yeah. So
how do you know if you don't like it then?
Huh?
How do you know if you don't like it unless you sit and watch it?
Because I think he started watching and he was just like, not for me. Not for me.
Oh, wow.
It's a little too much. So what I do now is every time I walk past it, I'll send him like a nice tight shot of her eyes and just shoot through the phone randomly.
You're like, I did this part extra for you.
I really next 3 a.m. text.
Yeah. Oh.
From a block.
But yeah, I got to ask you, as far as like all of your pieces that you do, because I certainly went through and took a wide look at a lot of your stuff. But for all your pieces, are you doing everything like 100%? Are you doing the sculpt and the paint, the hair,
everything.
the eyes,
I'm a one-man,
all that stuff? Okay.
Yeah, one-man show.
Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong. There's a lot of guys that don't, it's like I'm not good at hair, so I'm going to hand this off to a good hair person or, whatever. But
that was probably the hardest part about getting into what I was doing. It's like, it's not just the sculpting. It's like, then you got to figure out how to paint. Then you got to figure out hair and then how to be a seamstress to make clothing. And it's like, It's 50 jobs in one, right? It's hard. Like it took me 2 years of R&D to figure out how to make eyeballs because I had no clue what I was doing. And the first ones were all like wonky and cross-eyed. I was just like, dear Lord. And I'll get an old customer photo of a bust of mine and you're like, what was I doing?
Well, not to mention just mold making to begin with. I mean, you've got your sculpture and then hoping that you don't ruin what you've spent weeks sculpting.
Oh, yeah.
Mold.
I'm sure everyone's had a mold making disaster,
I've had nothing but mold making disasters.
Oh, God, yeah.
I would love to hear a success story.
Well, the Devil I just finished, that was my biggest molding nightmare because I didn't know what I never molded anything like that. And there's the clown. That I did this.
I love that clown.
Somebody commissioned me to do this because they love Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but wanted like a zombie version of it. So Killer Clowns in Outer Space zombie.
Paul said you did a really cool one like that, Paul. The zombie clown, the zombie face you did last year for Muscos was made into clown was awesome.
I did.
This guy does so much stuff. He forgot what he did.
That was a year ago.
He was lubricating last year. That's what it was.
Yeah,
right.
with
the beer.
Never mind. It was really
a lubricated show.
Yeah. So I think I got to give props to Ted too. What you just described as being a one man, you have to be a jack of all trades. I thought that was great advice. Ted said that to my daughter Edie, who is in art school now, and she's taking that to heart, and like she makes sure that if it has anything to do with something she's making, she knows how to do it.
Oh, exactly.
Even if that takes a long time, but I think there's, and like you said, I think Ted mentioned this to you before, is like it's a lot easier to get a job saying I can do all of these things as opposed to one of them.
Well, that's the thing, and I think a lot of people try and hyper focus on something, especially people that are in like makeup school or something like that. They'll try and hyper focus on prosthetic makeup sculpting or just like one area of it. But when you go to a shop, you're never just doing one thing. You're doing 50 things.
Right.
So like for me, I'd rather be like a jack of all trades and a master of none going into that scenario than somebody who's hyper focused on one avenue of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, and then the great thing going into a large shop, I mean, it's great when you're in a small shop and yeah, you can take on a lot of different jobs. You go into a huge shop, like where I work at, like either Steve Johnson's or Stan Winston's or whatever like that, Legacy Effects, where you've got 120 people and they want you to just fabricate or just sculpt. But if
Right.
you are a jack of all trades, but you do have a mastery in something,
Right.
at least you can talk to everybody else and understand what they're doing.
Right.
You know, I can go down to the
and
mold
understanding the
shop
whole
and talk to
process.
those, or, you know, I can talk to the artists and talk to the, you know, the sculptors or whomever and get a grip of like, okay, what's everybody doing? And I can understand it from my point of view. So, I mean, yeah, knowing all of that is good.
So working at Stan Winston must have been a trip. I can only imagine the stories you got from there.
It was a very great, it was a fantastic experience working, you know, with and for Stan. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. Could only imagine. What we got here?
now you've also done film and TV work. Can you talk about that a little bit? I mean, like what led into that? Was one, did doing these busts that you do lead into film and TV or vice versa?
Yeah, I never looked for TV work or film work and stuff. It's like I just did my own thing, and then that eventually kind of came to me, luckily. But the advantage, I find film work really stressful. Like the deadlines and just the whole atmosphere of working in a big shop. So luckily, me having built up my business to where it is now, I can kind of pick and choose when I want to do it and not have to rely on it fully, because I get so stressed when I'm doing those kind of projects. Because I taught myself just to sculpt on my own time. If it takes a month, it takes 6 months, then it just does, right? And then when I'm thrown into a situation, they're like, do a full upper torso of a woman that's been cut in half in this, and we need it by 3. I'm like, I just get overwhelmed, you know? You're just like, oh shit, you know? So I don't thrive in those.
It's 2:45.
Exactly. I'm not going to name a name here, but I was doing something for somebody, and it was for that TV show called The Boys, and they're like, okay, they need this, they need shots of this by 4 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, so I spend all day sculpting this thing. It was like a guy's head who got his head hit on a curb. It was all smushed. And then I sculpted all. He comes by at an hour before it's supposed to show, and he goes like this. I think we should do this. And he puts his fingers into the eyes of the sculpt and tears them off. And the whole face. And I'm just sitting there like, what are you doing, man? I'm like, this is an hour out. And then I had to fix it. That was the last time I took a job at that place. But yeah.
Wow.
No, and I mean that's the stuff that, you know, starting in this industry at the age that I did, where it's just like, you know, you're working for someone else.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're not an artist. You're a pair of hands for hire.
Yeah.
And you know, when you'd have somebody come in with a tool and just, it's like, you know what? I think the cheekbones need a little bit more this and a little bit like that, and then they'll draw on it with the sculpting tool, and you know, they'll tell you, it's like, I think this is the vision. Well, it's like, well, you're the guy that owns the shop and it's your name on the front door. So I guess you get to art direct me, and that's fine.
Yeah. See, in that situation though, he wasn't necessarily an art director. He didn't tell me what really needed to be changed. He more so just pulled clay off the armature and then said, maybe go in a different direction. I was like, I have a fucking hour, man.
there are those instances as well, you know, where it's just like, well, okay.
And I think the thing too is, like, I've worked for myself, and I'm sure you guys have too, doing your thing for so long. It's kind of hard to have a boss, you know, when you work for yourself for so long, right?
Well, yeah, I know I can speak for Paul when I say, when somebody gives us a job and says, hey, can you go carve at this big event? And they say, we'd love it if you could do like a clown or something like our logo or something, as opposed to, hey, you do you, and we know you're going to make some cool stuff. I always thrive in in that versus.
Or you have creative freedom, right? Like, you don't want to be restricted creatively. It suffocates your artistic ability, right?
Yeah.
You just got to let people roam, man. You got to explore the studio space, man. You just got to.
That's it.
You know?
And that's a great thing, I would assume. Like with, you know, I don't get hired to do any pumping sculpting or anything like that. And
where,
people come to me with, projects. It's like, we need this built, we need that built. Lately it's like they'll come to me and it's like, hey, we've got this film idea, and would you mind designing? And it's like, that's really cool that people are asking me now in my career that, we like the way you do things. So, will you design something? But yeah, I spent, the first big chunk, 35 years of my career, just, it's like, hey, this is what we're making.
Yeah.
Make that, this is the drawing. Somebody drew it. Now you do it. So
yeah, it's got to be cool when people just start inherently trusting your creativity and your vision. So just give
and
you
that's great. I mean, once you've been working long enough, or you're doing pieces like you're doing, where it's like, they like, whether it's The Exorcist or Freddy Krueger or something like that, but then they're loving that you've got a style. They can see your style coming through it, and they say, hey, can you do this as well? Or, and that's always fabulous.
Yeah, that's led to a lot of stuff. Like I said, just the film and TV industry just kind of came to me, thankfully. So I've gotten to do a lot of cool stuff in the last year, which has been like really fun. But and a lot of times, which is cool, they'll let me work from my own studio at my house, so I get to just sit and sculpt in my underwear all day, which you can't beat.
So in this photo, you can see, like the last one, you've got a whole lot of like the process stuff. Clearly, you have to know all these different things. Are these ordered, like, or do you kind of come up with, because you do a whole lot of good horror stuff? We're going to see some of that, but do you get orders from them outright, or do you say, hey, I'm going to do a Freddy Krueger, and who wants one?
No, everything's. I only work on pre-orders. I don't do anything to do with making stuff and then selling it. Just because I tend to be busy with orders, so I just don't have time to just like make stuff to sell. I'm usually trying to like catch up on people's orders all the time, right?
Okay.
There's
Dynamite Jason.
Dynamite.
Dirty, bloody Jason.
Yeah, bloody. But yeah, and these are all translucent resin, which is something I'm not new at, but over the last few years I transitioned to from latex.
Yeah,
and it's such a better medium to work with.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's like
Can you explain a little bit what translucent resin means? Like, because I think of translucent resin as like clear resin.
It is clear resin. So
it's completely clear.
Yeah. So basically, when you I'll go back to the reason I switched to translucent resin is you spend all this time creating a sculpture or a form, right? And the issue with latex and casting in that is it doesn't hold that form. So it's like you've spent all this time, and then I would get like customers' pictures, and the mask is like scrunched up on a table. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh man, I spent 3 weeks on those cheekbones, man. It's like, so it's like what I appreciate about the translucent resin is that it holds the shape I intended it to have, right? So there's no deviation. But yeah, so the translucent resin, what I use is called Smooth on 325. What it is it's not optically clear. It's like more of an amber colored resin.
Okay.
And it's designed to accept Smooth On's So Strong pigments, which are fantastic. They're wicked. So you just kind of figure out what your tint is going to be. You add the pigment into it, and then you slush your bust, and it comes out. And what's cool is it's already base coated. So you're just then painting intrinsic detail over it. You don't need to, with latex, you have to fake the translucency, whereas this is it's already there, right?
Okay. So you're doing the skin tone right out of the gate.
Yeah, the skin tone's there. It's just now I'm just adding like the breakup, basically, right?
Yeah.
But
a friend of ours from Twitch says, "Cool, thank you, Simon." All right.
I was going to say, isn't painting latex and starting with a relatively opaque material? That's where you learn how to paint.
Yeah, these are much easier to paint than latex. You're right. Yeah, because
painting
latex is hard.
If you can learn how to paint latex to give it that translucent look, now you can take that to what you're doing now, and it's just going to look even better.
Oh, that's the thing. I think if anyone's learning, start off with latex 100%. Like you just said, because if you can get that looking, it's like when songwriters say, it's like if it sounds good in an acoustic guitar, it's going to sound better on electric. You know what I mean? That's like if you can break that down, if you can get your hands dirty and really get things looking good on something flat like latex, then you paint something translucent like silicone or resin, it's going to look phenomenal, right?
Exactly. Yeah, learn learn it the like the original way, those latex masks and things like that. And it's like that's where you learn. That's where
Well,
you
the thing
really
is,
learn.
90% of the techniques I use on these are just things I did on latex. They work on
Right.
both, right? So
Sure.
it's like it's nothing too crazy. It doesn't deviate too far away from it.
No,
Badass,
the
man.
techniques are the same, better materials.
Better be exactly. But I mean, the one thing with this resin, I have it stuck to me 24 hours a day. That it's like I'm waxing myself after work. I'm like,
That's beautiful.
You're always working. There is no after work for you.
Yeah.
oh,
You're
yeah.
waxing yourself. You're waxing the character.
Say it.
Exactly.
You know you want to say it.
Sorry.
Wax on.
Wax ass.
There we go.
Yeah, this is a
That's
cool
a great
commission.
piece.
That's
Yeah.
actually the same zombie as the clown.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, he's just done up different. He's just painted differently. That was I got cheesecloth and I soaked it in tea, and then wrapped it around him, and then I found a necklace in my sister or mom's living room. I stole, threw it on it, and then Bob's your uncle. There he is.
Beauty.
That's fantastic. I love a good mummy, and that's a great mummy.
Thanks,
It
man.
is.
Yeah, I love the mummy from Monster Squad. That was always my favorite as a kid.
Yeah.
So it's my homage to Monster Squad.
Definitely. That's great looking.
Thank you. Appreciate it. There he is.
Speaking of being a seamstress and having to do hair and kind of every possible thing, I mean, this is one that when I was a kid was kind of the coolest looking, puppet there ever was.
Kevin did a ridiculous job on that. Yeah.
Oh my god! And this is a perfect rendition of that little
Thank
fella.
you. Yeah, the hood is harder than the sculpting the bust to try and figure out how to make that hood work. I remember the first one I sent out, the guy got it. It's like, the hood doesn't go up. I'm like, what do you mean? And I had made it too short so it wouldn't go over his head. It was a lot of trial and error. It seems simple, and it is, but it's just learning how to do it properly, right?
It's a great piece. I love your detail with the wrinkles and I think we glossed by this one sculpt a little bit ago. Is very long, very droopy.
Yeah, that was
one of
my
my
Jim
favorites,
Henson
too.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's such a great sculpt, and I it's one of the things that I just love is like the motion of like just flesh, the folding up of the flesh, and
just how skin moves and like what it would do.
Yeah.
Like this, I was my inspiration for that was Ed Roth meets like Jim Henson's The Labyrinth kind of thing.
Yeah,
I
definitely see it.
Just everything's twisted, nothing's really straight. That was a fun sculpt. That's the last time I ever used water clay too, before I switched over to what I use now.
Yeah.
What do you use?
Water clay is fun. I mean, it's
fun.
quick, and you can sketch with it. I mean, if you're a good sculptor, you can just bash out a really great sculpt in like 8-10 hours.
Oh yeah, I love it for that. The fact of that. The only issue with me is I'm such an incredibly slow sculptor that it ends up just cracking before I finish it.
Yeah.
I'm not fast. But someone asked what I sculpt now. I use a monster clay now for everything. The gray.
Yeah.
Wow, that's such a lot of monster clay.
Dude, monster clay. It's like it's. I can't. You've used the normal one, the brown one, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. The gray is so much different, but on every level, it's just a superior one to me, man. It's like I'm sculpting a witch right now. That's what I've been working on here, and you can just get so much detail into forms and stuff, and take your time with it, and just how it reacts to heat and a blowtorch is just great. So it's like, ever since I went to there, like now when I try and sculpt like a water clay sculpture, I end up just putting my finger through its face because I'm not used to it being so soft. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it is all about the what you're used to for the material. Like, it's almost similar, like you're sculpting on monster clay. Like I said, feels like a medium monster clay.
Holy shit, you already got something roughed out there. My God, man.
Yeah, we rough out.
Jesus.
It's just a primate from a butternut squash, man.
It ain't nothing.
It's just a silly monkey.
Andy's carving something.
But yeah, the monster clay changed everything because I was using Chevron for years, but I found it too sticky.
Yeah, when it gets warm, it does it.
Yeah, that oiliness as opposed to the waxiness of the.
Exactly. I much prefer the waxiness. That's me and my old roommate.
Ah,
Yeah.
All right, point of information. Look at the wall behind him. Look how organized that is.
It looks like a flea market behind me.
Yeah, but
Very
an
organized.
organized one.
Yeah.
Not like a swap meet.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
That's my aesthetic. Swap meet aesthetic. Flea market.
Yeah.
flea market chic. Nice.
Oh man, that thing. I sculpted this very early on when I first started sculpting. And this was a weird challenge for me to try and do something two-headed and make a mold of it.
How'd that work out? Make it?
Yeah, I got one casting out of it.
Oh.
He's sitting in my living room now.
That's very kind of Walter Matthau clown kind of.
Oh, like grumpy old man?
Yeah, I totally get that.
My whole backstory on this character was like, he's like they're both vampires, but like the one on the left is like works at a carnival and he's the conjoined twin, but the twin has agoraphobia, so he's terrified to go outside, but he has to every day. So he just looks terrified every time.
Always. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
That's a backstory.
Yeah. That was a fun one. There's some happy fellows.
You get a ton of these guys. I remember. Yeah, again, I watch all the stuff you put out, but when I remember you did a big series of these. When were these? When did these come out? This was. You probably had many versions of it, huh?
Last year, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
I believe it was last year. The clothing on that was just. That was trying my patience figuring that out. I'll tell you that.
I'll say, so cool.
See, that's when you got to start that outsourcing thing.
Yeah, I know. I seriously, I'm at that point. But like, I still have the scars from the hot glue gun from that experience. That was an off week for me. That was not fun.
What was your first piece like when you started getting into doing the busts like this, the character busts? What was the first piece that you thought you were gonna like? I'm gonna mass produce this and see kind of like.
I think I sculpted an alien at first. I just did a weird alien because I love the X-Files. So I'm like, I'll just do an alien.
Okay.
I think I have one somewhere. The first one I did is kicking around here somewhere. But I think that was the first one I did where I did it and then I sold one and then that kind of gave me the bug. I'm like, oh, maybe if I keep doing it, more people might want something, and then kind of all snowball from there, right?
Okay.
Apparently, you make masks like they're coming off the conveyor belt. I can't believe the output. I love how you use all these different colored resins too. Like
I have to because I'm slow, and if I don't make my master copies neon colors, then I paint them by accident.
Smart.
I remember I can't remember what bus it was, and I painted it and I shipped it off, and I'm like, that was my master copy, and I don't have the mold anymore. So ever since then, I do obnoxiously bright master copies.
They're awesome though. Hey, Johnny's got a question for you.
Yeah.
How do you market your masks?
I don't really. I guess I just kind of put it out there into the ether. I've never really marketed myself. I guess that I just kind of share in like the process, and I've been sharing on Instagram for like 10 years, so it's just built up a bit of a following on there, and that's basically it. This thing I hate.
I hate it. It's awesome.
I don't hate the outcome. I hate what I had to get through to get to that, because laying that much hair by hand is
forget it.
Boy.
It's a bloody nightmare. He looks like, if you go back, he kind of looks like a rat without hair. Look at him.
Yeah. The big angry rat with those
an angry rat.
Yeah.
Chupacabra.
See, I absolutely love hand laying hair. It's the first makeup effects gag I learned how to do.
Really? Oh man, like there's certain things I can't do. It's like mold making I don't like, and hand laying hair. It's just like I've been trying to find fun fur and like fur fabric that I could use, but it doesn't look that great.
Have you used National Fiber Technology, NFT?
No.
So it's a great company that we use in the film industry all the time. It's super expensive. Like a square foot of it can cost upwards to $65, but it's on a stretch backing.
Oh, no way.
What they all check NFT out, because they have this kind of offshoot from their company called the Hairy Man's Closet. And they will sell discounted furs that they'll get like maybe 4 square feet of from a character that they ran 90 square feet of, something like that.
Oh,
And so they'll have like this square footage for sale at a discounted rate. And
that's a killer idea.
yeah, and it's really interesting fur because it's mixed with sometimes it's all acrylic, or sometimes it's like there's mohair or yak hair, and you might find them interesting.
I'm definitely going to check them out because I was trying to find a decent source, but all the ones I was finding were in the UK.
Yeah, NFT is the only one in the world that I know of that makes their fur on a stretch fabric. So I mean,
like a 4-way stretch kind of thing.
Yes.
Oh,
So like when I worked on like the Jax Link's Bigfoot characters, that's all NFT. Or a lot of like the stunt Chewbacca suits for all the Star Wars, those are made with NFT.
Oh.
So a lot of the big monsters and creatures I've done are like, if they're hairy, it's National Fiber Technology.
I can't even imagine what herring one of those things would cost.
Yeah, I mean, it's not cheap. You start adding up
the price of a Subaru.
Well, and then when you have to like do like rush orders and all that, that's $8,000 or $10,000 or something.
Holy heck!
It looks like Christian's in the market for some discount hair swatches. I wonder if maybe a Merkin. Is that what?
Here you go.
Yep. That's a $6,800 Merkin.
There you go.
It stretches. It's okay. So you got a whole. This is talking about production. I mean, look at these guys. This is paint. Do you find yourself kind of doing one detail on each one and then going back, or do you do one at a time and kind of knock it out?
No, I just do them all in like a batch. I usually don't do batches that large. Like that was just a ridiculous run. But I usually set up like 3 or 4 at a time and then just kind of punch them out, right? Because you get all the paint. I custom mix all my paints and stuff like that, so it's just easier to do them in runs. Hey, Thanks, man. I appreciate that, Mac. Thank you.
Yeah, lots of kudos here.
Thank you.
Sculptors, all this stuff, and then and of course Christian chimes back in is yes, they have the best Merkins out there. They're
100%.
Every color of the rainbow, whatever you need.
But yeah, another cool thing I did. I don't know if you have a picture of it, but I did the new Evil Dead movie came out, and I did this promo poster they wanted, and it looked like a piece of skin that had been stretched over a board. And then, like, the title of the movie had been carved into it with all this other incantation.
Oh, wow.
And then, that was another one where it's like, you have one day, hurry. It's just like, wow.
Unbelievable.
I wish I had more time on that one, but that was a cool one.
I love this guy.
There's my new one.
Now, what is this when it's finished?
Beetle.
That's Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Oh, see, there's the master copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the Michael Keaton. That's a great likeness of Keaton because I saw that right away, especially in the nose mouth area.
That's my 4th or 5th attempt at that. I scrapped the other 4. I found him so difficult. I don't know what it is. He has such distinguishing features, Michael Keaton, and it's just. Do you know some people, they kind of like not a generic look, but they kind of just look like a human, right? Like they kind of very soft features. Keaton has a lot of very prominent areas on his face that where if you get you don't kind of highlight them, it just doesn't end up really looking like him.
Or you could easily caricaturize them too then.
Oh yeah.
And then it doesn't, then you go too far the other way.
Yeah, and then see that's what I was going to. It was starting to look like the Beetlejuice cartoon when I was doing it.
No, it's a really great likeness.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, that was the most frustrating. That made me question my my job for a long time.
Well, we talked about organization, and then we're going to show some amazing pictures of one of your latest sculpts, which is just ridiculous.
Thanks.
Hands down, man. One of the coolest. I mean, if you put it in terms of the sculpt you were waiting to see, like for a purchase, this is the one, man. If you're a fan of this movie, that character is. I mean, every kid had nightmares from that.
Oh, it terrified me. I wouldn't even watch it when I was a kid.
Yeah, I'll give you a peer into my dark soul. There was a picture in Time magazine of him full body in the full red, with the black background. It looked terrifying. I cut it out and put it in my wallet. I carried it around. My mom found it, And she was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just cool, Mom. I don't know." Yeah, so I had problems way back, but I love this
started way back then.
Yeah,
Mom, that's just Satan. What's your problem?
That's our Lord and Savior Satan.
Yeah. What are you worried about?
God. So that's one of the first master copies I had to pull because I screwed up the first one.
It's crazy though how when you use a different color, like look at the depth you get from a darker color just off the cap.
Yeah, from the gray.
It changes stuff a lot, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at that character, he's 90% shadows and how they light him, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did that make it hard to sculpt him?
Yeah, the movie's in black. The movie's black. It's like you can't see anything hardly. It's
everything's black. Yeah.
That was a week from hell doing that.
Oh my gosh.
The horns.
Figuring that out.
Jesus.
And I'm also under at this point I have 1 week to finish this and get it painted and shipped to upstate New York.
Oh my gosh.
So it was a
but I see
Christmas.
I saw back here that the horns you had here were all cast differently, and I mean, imagine just getting them symmetrical like this had to be a nightmare.
I had everyone I know come over and be like, "What's wrong with it? Did you? Is it this one higher than the other?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, I had to, like, because you can measure the lengths, but that doesn't really give you the angles of things and how they sit.
Yeah.
And then you have to think this materials I'm using here is heavier than the one that's going to go on it. So these are going to sink down slightly lower. They're going to sit slightly lower. So when you put the other ones on, they're going to be slightly higher. And I had to like think about compensating for that. And it was just, I was telling the guys the other night, I created like a key system that has like rare earth magnets in it with a couple dowels now that holds the horn in nice and securely. But it was a mission of a commission.
Mission of a commission. Yeah. Fantastic.
How many of those pieces are you gonna do? I mean, is it a limited?
Yeah, like limited. So it's like very limited run. Like the blue one there, it's like only 10. Okay. And he's got his eyes glow. Like I think I showed the guys yesterday, but they glow, which is kind of cool. But yeah, the blue one turned out really nice. I like that one.
That's so badass, man.
They're big.
Yeah, it is
awesome
big.
though. Like you like kids, you're gonna have to share a room from now on.
The devil's moving.
Dad needs the other room for the Lord of Darkness.
Yeah, if people haven't seen the movie and they come in your house and they're like, "Oh my God, we gotta go."
Well, the thing is that my house terrifies most people because I have like a severed head on my dining room table, and then I have like the devils. And then there's Chucky dolls surrounding you. It's like if you're not into horror, my place is your worst nightmare, basically.
Yeah, but if you're into it, you like need a roommate.
I'm moving in.
We got another nice note here. He's a bit biased.
Yeah.
What a handshake first bite.
The blown out hand he did for my wife. Well, that needs explanation.
Oh yeah. I sculpted. He commissioned me to sculpt a blown out hand from one of the Halloween films for his wife.
Cool.
Wow.
See, you know what? You know how you were saying like you're always under pressure?
Yes.
And if someone's under pressure, you can make diamonds, right? So I think your new name is Diamond J. Ryan.
Diamond J. Ryan.
J.
Like if I ever wrestle, that's my name, eh? If I ever start wrestling, that's
you're always wrestling with the commissions, man.
Wrestling with the commissions, frantic,
always under pressure. Just be in the diamond. Woo,
diamond.
Don't do that. With your costuming skill, you got to figure out how to make a luchador mask for yourself.
My key though is to wait to the last minute to start something. That's where I thrive. I laze about for weeks, right? And then I got a week left. That's when I fucking shine. Right then, you give me 6 days of stress. I'll pump something out.
That's it.
Right.
Sounds like an artist to me.
Yeah,
guys.
I actually got stress hearing that story.
Coming to the main stage.
God awful time management skills.
It's diamond.
Now sculpting.
I hate to say we're almost hell out of time. Jesus, what happened to Jay?
It flies by, man.
It goes by fast. It goes by way too fast. But then again, we could probably spend another couple hours with you. So we'll say it again, like we did last time. You got to come back. You're gonna want to check out your stuff again and again and again anyway. So we'll definitely have you back anytime you want.
Oh hell yeah, man! I'm down anytime. I love chatting.
You know what happens when they say they got to have you back?
What's that?
You just end up being a third part of the.
Look at Ted.
Be part of the
I'm
panel.
gonna have you
Hey,
back.
man,
Hey,
Hey man,
stay.
I'll sub in if you guys need some hosts. Oh, I'm down to do it. Let me know.
Oh my God.
I just
This is
sit here
an
minding where I
embarrassment
sculpt all
of
day.
riches.
We're gonna get worked at it. Paul and I get worked out of jobs here, so we get.
They're squeezing us out.
Come on.
No,
all right?
no.
They're catching on to us.
Well, this is where we can find your stuff, right, Jay? So anywhere else we can. I mean, I know you're kind of Instagram famous, so let's.
Oh God, no. Yeah, but it's just Instagram's good. Instagram, Facebook. That's about it.
Well,
If you're
do you
ever in
teach
Toronto,
classes?
come by. What?
I feel like you got the great personality. You could teach like online classes too, and people would just eat it up.
I don't know. I don't know. I've tried teaching before. I'm actually teaching a 9-year-old girl right now how to sculpt. Who's really into sculpting. One of my family friends. And
Oh,
I talk so much that we just get off topic and end up just talking about Five Nights at Freddy's with her for 3 hours, right? It's like I need somebody to rein me in. You know what I mean?
yeah, only non-English speaking students. That's
it. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a visual thing. It's not about speech anymore.
Right. Well, this is where you can find all of us. And we certainly will be here again next week with another wonderful guest like Jay. Maybe not as cool as Jay. Maybe
Come
no
on
one's
now.
really as cool as Jay. But
I think. Wait, who is next week? Can you say?
well,
Well,
we
we
always
have-
try to keep that a secret
say
because
yet.
we don't want to tip our hats. And,
Okay, okay.
It's part of the Willy Wonka magic of Carvers Creators.
I like that.
Magic.
I like that. Keeps it secretive, elusive.
Keeps you tuned in. Same
Keeps-
bad
keeps
times.
you on
Same
your
bad
toes.
channel.
Exactly. Well, I will say, you guys have an awesome format here, man. I love the show. What you guys are doing is wicked. No one's doing anything like it. So it's always fun to be a part of it for an hour or two every once in a while and hang out.
We appreciate having you, man. Thank you for the kind words. It's
Absolutely.
fun.
We'll keep
It's
doing
fun.
it.
Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk that a couple of goofy pumpkin carvers would be hanging with the coolest artists on the planet?
Yeah, right. It's nuts. I'm looking forward to seeing your monkeys now. I'm going to be checking my Instagram feed.
That's right.
I'll send you a picture of my monkey as soon as we log off.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for everything. Have a great night, everyone. And we'll see you all next week on another Carvers and Creators.
Bye.
Nice.
See y'all.
Good night, everybody.
See you guys.
See you.
Good meeting you, Jay.
Yeah, you too.